This is the granite slab I have serving as the work surface in my wood shop. I got this slab for free from my last place of work where it was used as a conference table. They remodeled the conference rooms and didn't want this anymore, so they called me up and said, "It's yours, come get it." So of course I brought it home with me. Now I didn't know what I wanted to use this slab for at first, but as it turns out, it's made for an excellent work surface in a wood shop. For one thing, I don't know if it's dead flat, but it's very flat, which is helpful for assembling things or sanding, etc. It's also very solid, and wood glue doesn't stick to the surface of it. So those are all excellent benefits. Unfortunately, I broke the end off of it when I moved it in here. So I need to fix that. This granite slab, I honestly have no idea if it's actually granite, but I'm going to continue to call it granite, and some of you stone aficionados can correct me. Anyway, this granite slab is very heavy. If I had to guess, I'd say it weighs about 1,000 pounds. It took at least 6 people to load this thing into the back of my pickup, and then when I got it home, I had the problem of, how do I unload this massive chunk of rock by myself? I wish I had footage of unloading this thing, but I don't. What I had to do was I backed my pickup into this shop and I arranged the metal stands, and my idea was to slowly wiggle it out of the bed of the pickup. And how I did that was I slightly lifted up on this end with ratchet strap that was tied to the joist in the ceiling, and I lifted up on it slightly and drove the pickup forward, and it just kind of wiggled out. And then when it got to the tipping point, I lowered this end down, released the ratchet strap, and lowered this end down onto the metal stands, and then slowly drove my pickup out from underneath the slab, just kind of wiggling it as I went. And then when I got to the end of the slab, it was still way up in the pickup, and I couldn't just drop it down onto the stands. So what I did was I tied that end up with a ratchet strap hanging from the ceiling joist and lifted it up slightly, drove my pickup out from underneath it, and then I was left with a slab that was half hanging in the air and half resting on stands. And you may know this about ratchet straps. They don't have a smooth way of releasing. There's no just unwind function. It's just snap and it releases. And instead of trying to find a way to gently lower the slab down onto the stands, I thought, well, it's only about 6 inches over the stands. Surely that sort of a drop won't hurt it. So I took my chances, released the ratchet strap, it dropped down on the stands, and the end broke off, like I should have expected. So I broke the end off because I'm an idiot. So what I want to do today is stitch that end cap that broke off back on. It won't be pretty or level or anything, but it'll at least be there, which will give me a little bit of extra work surface, and it'll cap off this jagged edge. I also want to make a new base for this granite table. These little metal stands it's on are okay, but they're not especially level and they're not especially solid. The new base I'm going to make is going to be higher to match the outfit of the table saw, and it's going to have some casters on it so I can have any hope at all of moving this massive chunk of stone around the shop. First things first, I need to cut all the lumber down to size. Now it's time to cut the half laps and dados. And now it's time to put the pieces all together. For some extra adjustability, I'm also adding these adjustable feet to the bottom. Now it's time to install the casters for mobility, and for the casters I'm using this special type of caster specifically made for workbenches. Normally the caster is folded up and out of the way, allowing the weight of the table to sit on the table leg. Until you want to move the table around, then you push down on this foot pedal, and the weight of the table is then levered up onto this caster, allowing you to move it around. These cross braces I'm putting in now are just some slightly better structural support to hold up the fragmented, broken off piece that'll go right about here. And I'm gluing them in with construction adhesive just because. At this point, you may be wondering, if that granite slab weighs as much as Stonehenge, like you say, how are you gonna get it up onto this new table base? Well, I'll show you. If I would have just done this to begin with, I probably wouldn't have broken the stupid thing. Let me move these out of the way. That is dead centered on that side, but on this side, just about centered. Now that the slab is mostly centered over the table base, it's time to put some construction adhesive between the base and the slab. This isn't to hold it down. Gravity will do most of that work for me. It's just to keep the slab from sliding around on the tabletop. Not that it would do much of that anyway, but just to be sure. Now to gently lower it down. Now let's go get the end slab. This piece is stupid heavy. Ow. Cuts right into my hands. As you can see, I've already pieced together the fragmented, broken end. I just haven't glued it onto the main chunk because I had no base. And it fits like a stone glove of some sort. All right, now that I know the slab fits, I'm gonna take it off. Oh God! I put some construction adhesive down, secure it in place. There we go. Now just gently slide it into place. Since I'm working with construction adhesive, it wasn't really necessary for me to do all this extreme clamping over here. I just wanted to get this gap as small as possible. And no, I didn't get the slab perfectly centered onto the table base like I thought. And I'm really okay with that. One, because it's a workshop table. It's not here for aesthetics. I mean, I made it out of construction lumber, but also because I was dealing with a floating slab of granite. It sort of had a mind of its own and did what it wants. So I have a little bit of wood sticking out here. Not really bothered. And now is done. The construction adhesive is dried. I have it roughly where I want it in the shop, and I use the leveling feet to get it nice and level on the floor, which is good because this concrete floor is about as flat and level as the flight path of a crashing plane. Now, is it pretty? No. I made the base out of construction lumber and then proceeded to put the top on the base slightly off center. And of course, that end of the slab is a jigsaw puzzle held together with glue. But the whole table works, and the whole table is very, very heavy. If I had to change anything about the table, it would be to add some triangular cross braces to these legs here. I left it open on purpose because I wanted a wide open space under the table so I could shove a shop vac, storage, anything I want to under the table. But it is just a tiny bit wobbly side to side. I mean, really, it's not bad at all, and I'll live, but if I had to do it again, I would probably add some small cross braces. Anyway, that's my new granite workshop table. I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.